What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. Howdy.
Nope.
Joe, I'm just throwing howdy on the end. That's the new addition. Howdy, y'all.
Howdy.
Howdy, folks. It's Joe and Robbie here.
No one likes it. Nobody asked for it. Just saying.
I had a lot of comments asking, and
please change up the intro. I'm so sick of listening to the concise intro that you've been doing for 2 years, 3 years
After I
now.
tried the one last week, there were a lot of people giving me good feedback. Lots of positive comments.
I'm sure.
Go check it out.
I'll go look.
Pull it up.
I'll pull it up. Yeah.
There's a total of 0.
Nobody comments on these.
So
okay.
we didn't put it in the notes, but I just thought of one other thing. We'll come back to it. I've got a few other things, but we should at least maybe mention the Apple event. We watched Marquez's video. That's the extent of coverage that I watched. I think the USB-C stuff that he was talking about, I'd love to chat about. That's interesting.
Yeah, but it's shown up so little in my feed, in my Twitter feed, and
I haven't
anything.
Seen.
Like, I had to go. Actually, I pulled it up on purpose just because I was like, I feel like I need to know what's going on, but. Yeah, but that's
been a weird event.
Going to be more and more indicative of Apple, especially phone events, because the iPhone. Good luck being able to tell the difference between a 12. I'd say iPhone 12, 13, 14, and now 15 apart. Mm-hmm. Good luck.
The 15, I think, maybe has a little bit of a distinguishing feature in the rails, because it's not the shiny rails.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like,
anymore.
if I was like, what's this?
Oh, yeah, no way, Jose.
And to be fair, like Google, like, I think if the general person looking, you were like, what's this? And put it down. Like,
yeah, I think
Pixel 6, Pixel 7, and now Pixel 8.
I think
people will be like, I don't know.
8
like,
seems to be very iterative.
People like us will be like, oh, I can tell.
It's got the extra camera.
Specifically from the way the cameras are framed on the back. But other than that, they kind of look the same.
So we'll get back to that here in a minute. We've got a few other cool things to talk about. We had a good call this week with Google, and got two calls technically. Yeah. We've got some good info to talk about there.
One we can talk about now. One we can't talk about yet.
Yeah. So fun stuff. But first, I forgot to mention it last week, but I want to make sure to mention the awesome Cameo giveaway that we've got rolling right now.
We didn't mention it?
I don't think we mentioned it last week because
as soon as we came in on 2 wheels after playing golf last week.
We came in sideways.
We're like, burning up hot, roasted, and let's go.
Let's do it. Hey, but we proved that we can do it.
We can go play golf and work. We did it today, yesterday.
Yesterday as well. That's right.
Got done with some golf, came back, did some work.
Which yesterday, quick note on that, just
people are like, cool, derail.
cool. I haven't even switched cameras or nothing. There's Robbie. Look at that. Hey. Boom. So we went and played a round yesterday, and we filmed a really cool short. We always call them shorts, but they're reels. Social media short.
Kudos to the YouTube team, by the way, because TikTok came out and obviously revolutionized short form video. Instagram quickly followed with Reels, which is a fine name, but Shorts is the best name. It really is, because it is short form video.
Shorts.
Is what
we made
doing.
a short.
Yeah, and so I say that all the time, and I'm not talking about YouTube Shorts.
And we ran into it when we were first getting into this. Andrew and I would get confused because I'd be like, hey, let's make a short of that or a clip of that. Well, the clips channel was a separate thing. Shorts were then rolling out as YouTube's short form video. It was getting confusing. Anyway, they have nailed it. But we made a short form video that went out on all the platforms for Proof Golf. It was super fun. A little quick cut of setting up in the simulator, and then boom, we're out on the course.
More Proof Golf stuff coming.
Stuff coming very soon. We've gotten focused.
Yeah,
we know what we're doing.
We got things oiled up.
We have the domain.
Side.
We're
good here. Now it's time to get back into that again.
And when we first launched Proof Golf, we didn't have the domain, so this is going to be rolling out proofgolf.com.
Yeah.
And rolling out everything.
Proof.golf still works.
Sure. Which is cool. It's still a cool domain.
I like it.
I like it more.
But I understand the general public
wants to look for a .com.
Yeah.
We're going to be putting out more content there. For anybody who doesn't have any idea what we're talking about, we started a side project a little while ago. Kind of, had to put it on the back burner for a little bit because there's some other things going on. But it is a side project, an umbrella property of Unboxed Media, which is our company that owns Chrome Unboxed, that Robbie and I own. So the whole idea with Unboxed Media always has been to build niche communities and
from day one.
and to have, multiple domains, multiple properties under, this umbrella company. And so one other project coming very soon that we're really, really excited about, that we'll talk about maybe next week.
Are you ready to?
No,
you're just gonna go ahead. And
we're not going to talk about that one yet. But Proof Golf, we can definitely talk about. It's not going to, this is a side hustle for us, kind of. This is a 20% project where we're going to be still completely focused on Chrome Unboxed, still doing everything that we do with Chrome Unboxed, but now spending, a little bit of our extra time on Proof Golf. And
as much as we can, what we want to do, ideally, is back when my wife was just emailing me or texting me about those sirens. It literally, it's a building that's across the street from our subdivision. So I'm sure she was like, "Oh, those are all going towards our house." Anyway, so they're sirens. You probably can't pick them up on these mics. Anyway, but yeah, trying to treat this as, if I can remember what it was like to work full time for another company, and then want so badly to run this other one that I'm hustling on the side. Hence the term side hustle. That's how Chrome Unboxed started, and we want to have that kind of same energy for Proof Golf. And so, so here's the site.
Great web design. Who did that?
I don't know. Somebody with a great eye.
Some of this content's a little older because we kind of, like I said, put it on the back burner.
I mean that was written for June. So back in June, July is when we kind of had to go. Look, we gotta focus on. We got some personnel stuff changing. We got to make sure that Chrome Unboxed is solid. This is so awesome. We're still getting some good organic traffic on this one. They basically, if you know what a Murphy bed is, they basically use the idea of a Murphy bed, and the entire simulator bay rolls out of the wall.
So cool.
Oh, it's so awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. But the whole idea here, for those not watching over on YouTube, which if you aren't watching on YouTube, go check it out.
Missing out.
We've got the Acer. Yeah, we've got the Acer Vero ran in here, so we've got some web content that we're pulling in. We've got multi-camera stuff. It's fun. Go check it out. Go subscribe. But yeah, the whole idea here being golf simulators, launch monitors, golf technology. For anybody who is trying to learn how to maybe put in their own simulator, or maybe they have a simulator and they're wanting to connect with others who have a simulator.
Or watch content around it, or have ideas about what you can get away with and what you can do with golf simulators, like the
and
ideas,
leagues and online play.
We've joined a couple leagues with GS Pro online, and it is legit fun. Like not just like, oh, that's a fun little thing to do. Like, I can't wait to play our league play. Like, we've got our, we're in a par 3 league, and then we're in a 2-man scramble league. And they're, months long leagues. And so you get all your stats and points and all that kind of stuff. And
it's so much fun.
Like, I can't wait to play. We played our scramble round already. We shot 4 under, 6 under?
6?
Yeah, we shot 6 under. We netted because it adjusts handicap. So after our first week, we shot 2 under. It adjusted us to a 2 under handicap. So we shot a 6 under, but we netted 4 under. So our handicap's going to go lower now.
Darn
it's part of it, but it does that for everybody. So it does help kind of level the playing field. But yeah, we've got our par 3 rounds yet to be played.
Yeah,
like I'm like chomping at the bit to play that. And there's just so many things to do that are so fun with these setups that are just the best parts of the game of golf. And we want to make content around that.
Yeah.
Not just that's informative, like here's how you do this and A plus B equals C. We want to create like gameplay and show, not just how to make these things work, but then also like be evangelists for how fun it is to play golf in this way.
Which is what we've, always wanted to do with Chromebooks and ChromeOS. So it's just a fun side kind of spinoff for us. It's something fun to work on, that kind of side hustle mentality,
for sure.
Again. And it's just been fun kind of getting refocused. So stay tuned. It's Proof Golf on everything except Instagram, proof.golf there. It's so silly.
Same way with Facebook?
No, Facebook is Proof Golf. I got Proof Golf on everything except Instagram.
Whatever.
There's some random proof golf
Random
out there
account.
that we'll have to hopefully get a hold of the Instagram lords and see if they'll,
because it's shut down. Like, it's not doing anything.
No, yeah.
But yeah, at some point, as we kind of get it rolled out, we'll kind of do a big announcement type thing. So if you're listening to the podcast or you're watching the podcast, you're kind of on the inside. And I'm going to use this transition to shamelessly plug our Discord community via Patreon, because it's the same type of thing. Not really. If you're watching or listening to the podcast, like, sometimes you're probably going to hear stuff here that you may not see on the site. It's part of podcast. It's just the nature of this medium. But it's the same way with specifically our Discord, and you get there through Patreon. But so for $5 a month, you get ad-free access to our website, and then you get access, more importantly, honestly, I think, is access to our Discord community, which has just been revamped. Kudos. I had a little bit of input there, but not much. Frankly, that stuff kind of wears me out. So I'm like, oh, they're talking about that. I'm gonna go over here.
Go right for a little while. Let you guys figure that out.
But yeah, Michael and Joe have really revamped the Discord community. I think it's at a much better spot. I interact more there than I used to, which is cool. I want to do that, obviously, but it's a spot where you can interact with us, but interact with each other more importantly. I don't think getting access to Discord and being able to, like, chat us up is really what most people are there for, which is really awesome. I think most of the people that have been in there for a while are comfortable, like, talking to us and asking us questions, and it's not this, like, oh my god, I'm in a Discord with the Chrome Unboxed people. Like, it's not that. It's like we're all just here together. Like, we're just people, you're just people, and there are people in there that know more about certain aspects of the computing experience, both Chrome OS and Windows and everything else that Chrome runs on, way more than we do, and that are just happy to provide some help. And it's a cool community. It's a cool place to kind of keep up with what we're doing, with news, to discuss the articles that are going out, the YouTube videos, the podcast, all that stuff. It's a fantastic community, something that you should look into. And again, shameless plug, but go to Chrome Unboxed. No. Patreon.com/Chrome Unboxed. The other way around, if you do that, it's the login.
We need to change that one. We need to change it to, like...
It's too good, though.
Yeah.
We just have to be smarter.
Yeah. / we can make, like, the login / you can't do log.
We could do Patreon login or something like that.
I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Patreon.com.
If you go ChromeUnboxed.com /Patreon.
Yeah.
That's where you log in as a patron.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go there if you want to, but...
Yeah, you're not going to be able to log in if you don't have your username set up.
Ooh, what we need to do, so when we screw that up, I need to figure out a way to customize further the WordPress login screen, which is what that is. And then it's like, oh, not a patron yet? Click here. And that way, if we say that, and then people are like, oh no, I got here. There's a big button that says.
It's almost just like we could just make a landing page that is that has not a patron yet. Click here, Patreon login. They click that and takes them to the actual landing page.
That would probably be easiher.
Anywho, we'll figure that.
That's why we're a good team.
Yeah, that's work this out one way or another. I had Patreon Discord revamp written down. You nailed it. I didn't get through the Cameo giveaway. I started it and got off the rails somehow. I don't even know.
Yeah, sometimes I'll shoot a rewind and be like, yep, that's what happened.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember.
That's what happened.
Until I watch it later, I'll be like, oh wow.
We're giving away some awesome Cameo and LG bundles. So basically, if you want to pull that up, 10 of these bundles that include an LG device running Chrome OS Flex, along with Cameo bundle, along with Chrome OS Enterprise Upgrade. So Robbie's got that pulled up there. So this is an awesome bundle. The folks over at Cameo and LG have worked together to put this together. They've worked together on this. I don't know.
I mean, it's technically right.
It's to work together.
Poorly worded.
To put this together.
But it's right.
So we've extended it slightly. There was some news that LG came out with, so we wrote that up. And as part of that kind of news, we extended this a bit.
Yeah, so here's the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just...
they've kind of... You can buy these bundles.
Right.
So
yeah, they've put it out there. It's not just this giveaway. It's not this... It's funny, like when they first gave us these things, they're like, oh, it's these LG Chrome
like,
OS
what?
devices. We're like, that doesn't exist.
Those
I know
aren't
every
things.
Chromebook base box that exists. Like I know them, and
This
that's
doesn't
not
exist.
a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and that's my monitor. Like,
Yeah.
I used to have that monitor. I sold that to somebody across the street. Like I saw it the other day. It's right
I
there.
know it's over there. But it's
and
not a Chrome base.
It's not a Chrome base, and it's not. It's a 1080p version of the widescreen monitor that if you go back, I don't know, 18 months ago, you'll see plenty of videos where that monitor is.
Yeah.
I love that monitor.
It's a great screen. So you're getting that great screen.
It was 60 hertz, so that's why I really wanted a 120 hertz monitor. But yeah, it's a great screen. It's the 1080p versus the Quad HD, but still, you're getting like 1.5 screens basically of width, and so what that allows you to do kind of is just to spread stuff out really nicely and not feel like you've got to create as many virtual desktops and all that kind of stuff. I do miss the ultra wide part. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure.
But I'm not gonna go buy another monitor.
Yeah.
My monitor's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
I don't need
totally
another
fine.
monitor.
It's totally fine.
No.
So
if I got a new monitor. No, I don't need. See, that's what goes on in my head.
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time, folks. That's what Robbie's fighting constantly.
Yeah, that's why I went
Internal
in.
dialogue.
That's why I went in and just bought that new launch monitor.
Damn, I knew that was going to happen. So
Couldn't fight it.
go check out the giveaway. Chromeunbox.com/business will take you to this giveaway. Or if you just go to the website, the green banner at the very top.
right
If
at
you
the
click
top.
that, it'll take you right here to the
Click it,
giveaway.
watch this.
Boom.
Hot out.
There's your giveaway. And
You
go get
to
entered
see
to win.
You get to see a snazzy graphic by Joe. up there
Yeah,
at the top.
yeah, it turned out pretty nice. September 24th is when this one is going to end.
Yep.
10 a.m. that morning is when it'll stop. So you've got a little bit of time to get entered to win. There haven't been, to be honest, there haven't been as many entries in this as some of our other giveaways. So your chances of winning are fantastic.
Yeah.
If you are a work for a business that is thinking about adopting Chrome OS and you wanna be the guy that brings this to the bosses, you can do that. You can go and get entered to win as long as you have a business email.
Yeah.
You can enter to win.
Yep.
Or if you're a business owner,
Yep.
Any sort of enterprise admin person, IT specialist.
Basically the only people that I would say like, I don't know what you would do with this. Like if you work at an establishment, like you work at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, this probably isn't for you. Yeah.
Your boss is gonna be like, cool. Can't use that.
If you work at a law firm or any sort of service,
any small business, basically,
medium-sized,
that could medium-sized businesses too, because like these could be rolled out as kiosks. I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen. This is thousands of dollars worth of hardware that could go to good use.
And with Cameo, you can get all of your apps. So if there's some Windows stuff that you really need for the business, Cameo is going to take care of that for you.
There's no like, well, as long as you can work inside of Chrome OS. Well, if you can't, that's what the Cameo part of this is for.
There's
like
a perfect bridge now that will solve that problem. So go get entered to win.
Yes.
It's an awesome giveaway. I forgot to mention it last week. Make sure to go get entered to win. The eligibility maybe is confusing some folks, but I mean, if you if you work for a business that could use this, you just need a company email. That's all you need.
In worst case scenario, go ahead and get entered. And if we contact you and it's like, technically you're not eligible.
Right.
Unfortunately,
we'll work through
have
those
to move
details.
to the next person.
Yeah.
But
get entered to win. Go check it out. Chromeunbox.com/business. Okay, let's dive into some news from the week. One of our calls with Google that we can talk about is a really cool announcement. You know, there's been some news around AUE. There's been some other outlets pick up some of this kind of trend of AUE and devices expiring, which we talked about not being a great name for this. Last week we talked about Flex a little bit, and
I ranted.
And Robbie ranted, didn't talk. He just ranted. I sat here and just listened.
It was a rant. It's okay.
Call it what it is.
Like it's one of those. Like I was in the middle of it. Like I've gone too deep. Said too much probably here. I need to stop,
but I can't. I'm too far in.
I got to wrap it up now. Like I got to go ahead and say what I need to say. Sometimes you got to say what you need to say. Hey, that's what John Mayer said.
It's out there. It's all good. But Google this today. I was going to say this week today, but when you're listening to this,
in our head, it's this week. We knew, but
yeah, Google came out with an announcement that they have extended AUE for all
current devices.
All current devices.
Yeah, so you can't go get one out of the graveyard
and bring it back
and add 2 more years. That would be cool.
That would be dope.
Maybe. I probably wouldn't, honestly.
Yeah.
We've got a couple, I think 3
that are out.
Maybe 4 sitting on the shelf that are AUE. A couple that are like, I'm keeping this because this means something to me. The original Samsung Series 3. I bought on eBay just because I want it up there with my Palm Pre. Is the CR48 development, the first Chromebook. They turn on. There's nothing really to do with them. The Series 3 probably would take its final update. It would probably work, but I bet you it'd be on like ChromeOS like 60 something.
We should do that.
We
should make a video of
just turn it on. Let's see what happens.
Seeing what happens with a.
And this whole thing is so.
I guess we need to say exactly what it is. They've extended it for 2 years. Now 10 years.
2 years, not on any device that right now is still getting updates will now get 2 more years. So everybody that's like, God, my Chromebook's going to expire like next month, you literally just got 2 years of new life. As far as like when you'll see that, somebody asked in the Discord, like, when are we going to see that? Is it going to be 2024? I'm like, I don't think so, but it could, because 2023. Yeah, so by now the AUEs that were coming up in 2023, basically by this point they had changed it to everything was June blah blah blah. So June 2020, June 2021, June 2022. So like we don't have like AUEs all hit in June, and we won't have any more Chromebooks expire until June of 2024. So at any point they can extend this. So I don't know when you'll see it. Like on your, like if you go to settings and you go to the about section of your Chromebook, like here you can show the screen here. If you go to your settings and you go to additional detail or firmware updates, I'm sorry. Nope, I'm sorry, that was not true. I do this literally every time. There we go. I see firmware updates, and I'm like, yeah, firmware updates. No, that's talking about like third-party firmware updates. ChromeOS, by the way, we wrote an article about it, but they can update like third-party firmware. So if you have a Logitech mouse, as long as Logitech provides it, ChromeOS can send that update to the mouse. Kind of a cool thing. But yeah, if you click into additional details here, you'll see I'm on the beta channel on this one. But update schedule, June 2023. As I said, June is the date. Everything's June, blah, blah, blah. And so you can go in there and look. I don't think that will be updated. I'm trying to think when this one, I'm pretty sure 2030 was the original update on this one. This is a 12th gen. So it goes by board when the board was manufactured. So that was last year. So that would be 2022. 8 years is 2030. Yeah. So hopefully at some point you'll be able to click it here. That will change to 2032.
Yeah.
For devices that have 6 or 7 years, it'll update. Like they're gonna follow through on this. They would be crucified if they don't. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. As far as when it shows up, as far as something you can see, it could be. I don't know, it could be into 2024 if they want. They don't have, again, there's no new device is going to expire for the next few months, so they don't have to do it like right now.
Yeah, yeah, because that kind of, I mean, they have to just pull the trigger at some point.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean, I'd say my guess would be the next ChromeOS update. They'll just fix all of them. Literally, it would probably be one line of code they've changed in the Omaha server that says move expiry out to these dates. But then, yeah, so 2 years added to other Chromebooks, but then new Chromebooks and then those moving forward. So a device like this, for instance, that it shows 8 years, basically. Well, that's 7 technically now. So some of the 714, so that just came out with 13th Gen Raptor Lake, a device like that would show 2021 or 2031 as its expiry date will go to 2033. That makes sense, but everything moving forward, so in 4 years from now, then a new Chromebook that comes out will get a decade of updates. So anything moving forward is always a decade. So the scope of support for a Chromebook now is 10 years. Then that's wild.
It's a long time.
A long time.
If you have a piece of hardware, consumer
anything
hardware that
go
you
find
use
something in your house.
For 10 years.
10 years. Even a television, which is pretty dumb by tech standards. A 10-year-old television. I'm trying to think. Let's see.
This one's...
That one's not that old.
Which one am I thinking of?
We bought this as HCC.
I'm thinking of the HCC one that we bought whenever we were still over in the old
Oh, Lord.
Me and Kenny went and picked it up.
That was in that small office.
That was like 2014.
Yeah, that one would be pushing. And you would think, like, God, is that TV still working? Right? That's 10 years old. For a thing that doesn't do anything. It just sits there and displays an image. Yeah. Like, that's not
there's
even...
There's no processor in
you're
it.
not worried about a keyboard. You're not touching it all the time. You're not punching stuff into it. You're not carrying it, throwing it in the bag. All I don't know. I think Google has gotten a bit of a bad rap. Some of this press that has gone around about e-waste and all this stuff. I'm going to have a post about this, depending.
Soonish.
Yeah, probably within the next week. It may not be in the show notes here. Excuse me. But there's been a lot of bad press about e-waste, specifically for schools that have gone and bought Chromebooks and now they're expiring. Here's the problem. A lot of those schools went and bought Chromebooks that were already old.
They bought them with 2 years left.
Right.
Because they were cheap and they needed 300 of them.
Some seller needing to offload a bunch of inventory said, hey,
these are super cheap.
Buddy, we can get these to you for $85 a Chromebook. And sold them a fleet of these old devices and didn't really clue them in on that. Now, to be fair, shame on your IT person for not doing some due diligence. But maybe just like we were talking about before, hey, you can bring this new giveaway to your boss and get an attaboy, right? It could have been something like that. Like I went to my boss and said, "Look, I got us a whole fleet. Look, we're going to save. We can take half of our budget and now to go do this."
Yeah,
a lot of that stuff could happen, and honestly, it could be happening at 3 schools, and that's enough for the New York Times to pick up the story and make a big deal about it. And I don't want to undermine like the fact that electronics get thrown away and there's a problem there, but Google's trying to make some avenues too for if e-waste is your only concern, if you're really concerned about Chromebooks going into the dump, there are ways for those things to get recycled properly, and a lot of the stuff's made from, especially school Chromebooks, are made from post-consumer recycled content. Like it can get recycled, it can get reused if it's dropped off at the right place. It can get taken care of. And so what a lot of people are upset about is like, well, you've added an expiry date on these pieces of hardware, and so it's planned obsolescence. You've chosen to say, well, it's no good anymore. I don't want to give away the post and give away all this stuff, but when you think about supporting a broad range of hardware and all the stuff that goes into supporting a broad range of hardware, it's not simple. And I can't wait to share some of the photos and videos that we have that we're able to share of these racks and racks and racks of Chromebooks that exist that are being tested, and the amount of manpower and time and effort it takes to make sure when they deliver a ChromeOS update every 4 weeks now, by the way, it's got to work on everything, because the promise of a Chromebook isn't it might work sometimes. It's you bought this Chromebook. ChromeOS is simple, safe, and secure. Well, simple is not having to update hardware drivers. It's not hoping that your hardware works. It's not doing any of those things. Simple is I opened it up, I logged in, and I did my thing.
Yeah.
They have to deliver on that promise, and so that means keeping tabs on all of them. Like, think about that for just a second. Think about all the current Chromebooks in the market right now. All of them get tested. All of them. Does the trackpad still work? Does the keyboard still work?
What's the screen doing now? What are all the ports?
All of
Everything's
it.
still working.
Is the motherboard still working? Does USB-C, HDMI, do all of these things in that Chromebook, that obscure like Viglin Chromebook that still technically has to stay supported, because if not, people are going to get offended. I got to keep that thing supported. Like, how do we make sure that happens? And so it's a massive undertaking. So adding 2 years to this is Google choosing to take a massive undertaking on, and
it's a lot of engineering.
It's just so much when you stop to think about it for a second. And it, I have to eat crow a little bit. Like we sat and had a conversation with the guy that's over AUE and dealing with, like, he's the one that's helping engineer solutions for this for Chromebooks, and I'm over here ranting about why does Chrome OS Flex not work on Chromebooks, and the answer is, again, I'm going to go into more depth in this post, but it's a nuanced answer. But when you know the actual details of it, it's like, that doesn't work. So now it's a PR problem. It's just like, how do you communicate that in a way where people are like, oh, yeah, that's right. Because after he told me, I'm like, oh, yeah, that wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. If you put ChromeOS Flex is what they refer to, I love this, as a monolithic image.
That's a great.
I was like,
as soon as he said it, I was
you
like,
keep that in your back pocket for these things? It's a monolithic image. So
you made up this.
Whoa.
We're just gonna throw that out there and move on.
Yeah, come on.
What are you talking about?
Fantastic. You said monolithic image.
That's great.
I love it.
Stop for a second and let us take that in.
Hold on. Let me go get a drink.
What is it? Okay, hold on.
Monolithic. Okay.
Wow. That's great.
I got it. Yeah, so ChromeOS Flex is one image that they hope will work on all these devices. And, they've got these ones that were like, hey, we've tested. For the most part, it works. And for your fleet of old, busted Dell laptops, that model right there that you have, you throw ChromeOS Flex on there. And if you need to get online and do some, basic web browsing stuff, and it's going to work. It's going to connect to printers. And it's going to do the basic stuff right.
And they've certified several of those. They have the list of certified devices that they've done basic things on.
Certified that they tested it.
But you're still taking that risk. You're still making that choice to say, I'm going to switch OS.
Right.
I'm not like transition. Like you're changing the OS.
Right. And you're trying to just basically salvage your old hardware. And I would bet that 95% of the time it's fine. But here's the problem. If it's not fine, and you go back and you're like, well, this free thing that you said I could use doesn't work on my 1999 laptop anymore. What the heck?
And Google's old MacBook, yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's not... we're trying, to make it work as best we can. But, basically the other option is to throw that thing in the garbage or go recycle it, properly. So it's not our fault necessarily that doesn't work, because we have one ChromeOS Flex and we're hoping to make it work in as many things as possible. That's a very different thing to say to someone than, here, buy this Chromebook. It has ChromeOS on it. It is a Chromebook and it is supported for 10 years. Here you go. The promise that is inferred in that transition, when someone goes to Best Buy and purchases a Chromebook, the promise that is inferred by that is that this thing is safe, simple, and secure.
Yeah.
Or is that no safe? Shoot.
Secure. Simple, secure.
Simple, secure.
Wow, you just got me all out of whack. Simple, safe, secure.
No, safe and secure, same
safe
thing.
Safe and secure, simple. Oh my gosh, Robbie, what did you do to us?
I've lost the pillars of ChromeOS.
What did you do? Google it. Google it now.
ChromeOS.
What happened?
See, we forget this stuff too, guys. Let's see. Stability. Stable.
Stable.
Simple, stable, and secure. And safe.
But
safety and security is the same thing.
That hurt my brain.
Yeah, Thursday at 3:30. Sometimes the brain just ain't firing anymore.
Yeah.
It's a problem with
I
alliteration.
was like, is it on my cup? No, okay, it's not on my cup at least.
Yeah. I'm like, simple, safe, and secure. That's the 2.5 pillars. Any stool stands great on those.
You got your 2.5 pillars.
Oh, jeez.
It's most of what you need.
Speed, simplicity, security.
Speed.
I don't even... We may have messed that up too in a second. Yeah, so I'm reading them from speed, simplicity, and security. It's
Zoom in on it so we can see.
There you go. It's actually Kevin. Look at that. It pulled up Kevin's thing. There you go. Principles of speed, simplicity, and security. They're listed on the ChromeOS page and stuff. But the idea of all this, like the pillars of ChromeOS basically are that it's going to be secure. The thing's going to stay nice and fast, and it's going to be stable. Like it will work. Stability infers it works. Like the things that you said I would be able to do with this thing are going to work, and so they're going out of their way to make sure Chromebooks work with each of these. And again, I can't wait to share this. To see these server racks they're not server racks. They're like racks of Chromebooks. They're literally Chromebooks sitting in racks that are hooked up, and someone's like looking. I don't know how that all works, but they're going through all these hoops to make sure that those three things are happening with Chromebooks and ChromeOS. So it's unfair to really compare that to the non-promise of ChromeOS Flex, where ChromeOS Flex is like, we're throwing you a lifeline. Maybe it'll help. It'd be great if it does help. It's like comparing a lifesaver, like you're flinging a lifesaver to someone who's drowning, to rolling up in a boat.
Yeah.
And acting like the two are the same thing.
Right, yeah.
Like they're not the same thing. Like this is built, engineered to do the thing it's supposed to do, to float, to move across water. Does the lifesaver do that? Yeah,
sure.
Kind of. If I tug it, it moves across the water. And will it help save you in that situation? Yes, it will do that. But is the promise that it's going to deliver what the boat delivers? Absolutely not. And to put the two in the same camp is not fair. And so, that's the short-ish version of what that post will kind of outline. And me having to just be like, oh, I shouldn't have ranted maybe as much. But the other part of that is the PR. It's a PR difficulty for sure. How do you explain that concisely to consumers? And I think that's part of why they wanted to talk to us.
And from our perspective, we're hearing it from readers and viewers, a lot. I mean, AUE and expiration on Chromebooks it's just a negative PR branding thing that.
Well, we were talking to Google. The way you said it, you were like, "Well, you could say this, or you could say it this way." It's the same thing. You're saying the exact same thing.
Instead of saying, "Hey, your Chromebook expires in 10 years," you say, "You have 10 years of use of service on this Chromebook, of support on this Chromebook." 10 years, yeah. So.
Because is there anything good that expires?
No, people think it's
a pretty negative word.
It's gonna, like you said the other day, it's gonna curdle.
It's like milk curdling.
Oh no!
I mean, people refer to animals and humans dying sometimes as expiring.
Sure.
So, I don't know that there's any positive connotation to the word expire.
Not that I'm aware of.
Everything's negative. I feel like we're
it's
at
a bit
expiration.
It's a bit. It's a bit. What I think probably happened is that ChromeOS is a pretty, especially early on, still today. There's a team of people working on ChromeOS, but it's probably not the massive thing that you think it is.
Right. Some people probably imagine there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people
building it. It's really not, and. AUE is a very engineering specific.
It was probably an internal term.
It's like an internal term that somehow just kind of leaked out without them really thinking about this long-term implication.
Well, and early Google was that way.
Yeah, it's a very engineering, and it's very the whole startup mentality of go fast, break things, and move on.
Well, we had two guys that used to work up here in the co-working space, and both were software engineers. JavaScript mainly, a lot of front, a little bit of back end, web development kind of stuff. Like one guy worked for Tickets.com. He now works for Automatic, which runs all of WordPress. He basically.
That's why our WordPress site is so awesome. Just kidding. He has helped us with a few things.
Yeah, and Jason would there's a nag in WordPress right now that I'm like, I don't want to be that guy, but part of me is want to be like Jason. Dude,
also links. I wish that he would.
Well, that.
Oh, that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I didn't want to call him out, but he's over Gutenberg. Jason, if you happen to be listening, the whole thing when we insert a link, the option to open in a new tab should just be there to begin with, it used to be. It always used to be
4 or 5.
It's all these clicks now to get to it. It's a little silly. But anyway, now he's transitioned. He works Gutenberg blocks. If you're familiar with WordPress, he does that now. And then the other guy, what company did he work for? It was in Boston. I remember that he had to go to Boston all the time. But
was he on the Facebook kernel? Am I thinking of the right?
No, that was Paul.
That was a different guy. He built the Facebook Linux kernel.
Jeez, that was wild. I learned some cool stuff from Paul.
Yeah, he was interesting.
Paul had to face a certain way, but Paul had a keyboard that had no markings on it. Yeah. Remember that? Remember he moved here because he had a girlfriend or a fiance from Center College, which is not far from here. And so, he needed a place to work for a little while. And so he came in. We're like, hey, man, what's going on? And and got to know him a little bit. And he's like, yeah, I work on the Facebook kernel. He and 12 other people.
Oh, you mean the core?
Build and maintain the Facebook kernel.
The main piece.
All of it. Dude could have blown up Facebook from, basically where our golf simulator is. Yeah. And, Yeah, he was very knowledgeable about cameras. Like I understand now the physics of bokeh and blur in photos because of like he explained it. And I'm like, oh,
he was talking about like the moon shots and stuff and how you're able to get those with certain.
He has some really nice cameras.
He just walked in one day and he was like, "Hey man, we were talking about cameras. You want to try this out?" I was like, "That $20,000."
Was it a Leica or was it a?
It was a Leica.
Yeah,
I forget which one.
I couldn't remember if it was that or Hasselblad.
And he's like, here it is. Just take it.
$5,000 lens.
Yeah, I'm like, are you sure?
Like,
I
don't
for
want
sure.
to.
I took some sweet photos on that thing. I did. I used it.
But I mean, he came in here and just bought a brand new like computer and everything to sit and do his job on for like 6 months. And I don't know what he even do with that stuff.
No
but
idea.
That was wild for him to be here. But yeah, his username wasn't it like @.com.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
So
crazy.
that was an interesting time. I remember him and Jake, who's still here, who's a game developer for Kentucky Route Zero. We've talked about multiple times. They were in the same room at one time, and they both type with a lot of ferocity. And they both use those really clicky mechanical keyboards. And the two of them in one room, like they were like communicating in clicks or something. That was a lot.
A lot.
But yeah, no, Craig was, I don't remember the company he was with, but he was a software engineer as well. And I'm trying to remember where I'm going with
engineers,
all this.
very engineering.
Oh, yeah. So I'll never forget this. This taught me a lesson about software engineers, and it taught me a lesson that helped me realize, like, I don't think that I'll ever be one of those people. Like, I've always wanted to be like, I'm going to learn JavaScript, and I've learned some basic parts of it, and it's more of like a hobby kind of thing I mess around with. But there was part of me that's like, I want to get into this and become like a developer, like really get into figuring out how to do this kind of stuff, because my brain does work in that logical fashion in order to solve problems. I just need to learn the code in order to execute those logical patterns. And I remember both of them, very different people, very, very different. Jason and Craig, very different. Even Paul, like comparing the three of them, like wildly different people. But Craig and Jason both agreed one time. We were having this conversation because they'd pull me in every once in a while if they needed like front end stuff done, like CSS, cleanup. They just wanted to get the job done. Like, the thing works here, make it look okay, because it's ugly. But they didn't even realize it was ugly. We're up here in this space we're in that you see all the time if you ever catch the floor in any of our photos. It was literally Christmas tree green carpet in this entire place. It was just horrendous.
I'll see if I can find a photo to drop in here.
And then it was like, the most basic beige walls. It was hideous looking, just hideous. And I remember complaining about it one day. I'm like, I can't wait. Like, we were getting close to the point where they were going to replace the floors, and I was like, oh my god, I cannot wait. And I'm thinking of it from Chrome and Box standpoint too, like not having to hide. Like, we had to constantly hide and not show the floor all the time in any kind of video or anything, because it was just so ridiculous looking. And they both looked at me like I had said, hey, I think we should all walk around with our hands in our pants and one shoe on, and then maybe put a plant on our shoulder.
Sure.
Like,
what?
And I'm like, you got the carpet. Like, doesn't it like just bug you all day? And both of them were just like, no. And I remember Jason saying, I mean, it works, right? And I was like,
yeah,
functionally, yeah. I can step on it.
It
and
does
he was like,
serve a.
So what's the big deal? And I was like, it's hideously ugly. It doesn't bother you? And they were like, nah. And that day I knew I'm not a software engineer guy. And so if that's the kind of mentality, that mentality, I remember when that happened, I was like, this makes so much more sense from especially early Google.
Yeah.
They were just like, the engineer part of them, they were mostly engineers. And it was just like, it works. It's like, what else do you want? Like, it's working. Like, it does the thing.
You want us to sit and spend time and have a meeting about what to call this thing that we already have a word that describes it perfectly?
Yeah.
We're going to call it AUE. Done. Moving on.
Like
that's
auto
that's
update
the way.
expiry is what it is.
Yeah.
Move on. We have other things to be solving.
There's more important things to do.
There are problems to be solving,
right,
and it's like, and so now you start getting people in that are like, oh, we need to nuance this a little bit. Let's round off the corners a bit. And they're like, nah. And so I guarantee you that's exactly how all of it rolled out. Like, and they were just like, well, I guess that's what we're calling it.
And no knock to incredible engineers out there who think this way. You need both sides, right? Exactly.
100%.
And I think this one maybe just slipped through. I don't know. It just happened, and it is what it is. And we're at a point now where Chromebooks are becoming more and more common. There's more and more people that know about Chromebooks, and now we've got some larger media outlets writing about Chromebook expiration,
right? And putting it in that light of the negative part of expires. Oh, they expire. Like you planned it, you built this and planned it. It's like, no, there's a bunch of stuff that happened, and mainly that school bought a really old version of that thing. It's no different than if I don't think organizations, well, some of them do probably. If a business said, hey, for our salespeople, we're going to buy them iPhones. And, what are we on, iPhone 15 now? If they're like, hey, we got a really sweet deal on iPhone 8s. We're going to buy everybody iPhone 8. And then 2 years making a big stink about the fact that those iPhones aren't getting software updates anymore. That seems silly. I mean, it seems like I say that and it's like, well, yeah, idiot. That's dumb. Well, that's kind of what happened with schools, and I'm not calling anybody who bought old Chromebooks idiots. I'm just saying, like, we would clearly, and if you change the context just a little bit, we would clearly go, that's so stupid. Why would you do that? And yet somehow for this reason, it's like, see, Google's ruining the environment with their Chromebooks.
But there's this also this mentality, and I think it just from years and years of Windows being the crap hole that it is.
Right, we can buy a junk thing.
And it's going to last. You'll keep this thing forever.
Yeah, we'll drag it through the mud until it absolutely pukes and dies. Right. Because who cares what our kids use, right? It doesn't matter. Yeah. It's got 1 gig of RAM.
Who cares?
512 kilobytes of storage. Perfect. Who cares? We save some money. That's what matters. Yeah. And now that's coming back to bite them. And instead of the narrative being, maybe we should spend a little bit more money on our country's education for our kids, the narrative is bad Google for making things that expire. And I'm like, everything else does too.
And we were digging into some other policies that are out there, and I don't have them in front of me. We'll maybe include some of that in your article, but MacBooks, other
7 years,
7 years, I do believe, other consumer products, all consumer products that you probably go buy, most of them, I don't want to say all,
have to have a date. Yeah,
some are maybe just buy it and whatever. But as far as like things that are getting updated, MacBooks, PCs, I wonder what. I don't know that we were looking around at Windows.
I don't know that Windows has a date on it because you buy it and you have that version of Windows. The problem is software moves on, so software will then dictate. So software says, we're not going to support Windows 7 anymore, or we're not going to support Windows Vista or XP or whatever. And it's like when Microsoft cut from XP like 15 years after it or something like that, and people were still like, I can't believe they're not going to support this. I'm like, who exactly do you expect to continue doing this work? Like, update your hardware. Eventually you got to.
Because there's people, there's engineers, there's staff people at these companies, Windows or whoever, or Microsoft, that are doing this. They're having to make sure these things are working. So it's a waste of time.
And people, and the problem too is that people want to see technology move forward and do cooler things and better things and more helpful things and get out of our way more and get us to the things we need faster. And the list goes on and on of the things we would like to see computers do. And they'll be the first in line to criticize the things that a laptop won't do for them, and then turn around and be upset that I can't update this thing forever and ever. Like, you can't have both. If we were like, hey, we're done, we're not going to evolve any more technology, we're happy with what we got, we're going to keep what we got, cool, then this laptop should work forever. But if you want things to continue to get better, I would hope anybody using any technology would want to be like, yeah, there's problems with this. Everything could get better. Like, honestly, until we're to the point where I can just have a thought and the computer does it, it can always get better.
Right.
100% it can get better. And so if that's the case, you've got to embrace that want with the understanding that eventually this hardware will be obsoleted. It's just the way it is. Like, everything gets old. Everything expires. I mean, it's just the way of things.
Yeah. I think Google making this I think gesture. I mean, it's more than a gesture.
Yeah,
it's a ton of
big
work
move.
that I'm sure went into this, and you're gonna share more about some of what all goes into all this. But it is a bit of a gesture in that it's kind of like, all right, hey, we hear you. We're gonna go above and beyond now, and go to 10 years.
Yeah.
So I think it is a bit of a kind of maybe a little bit of a PR gesture in that way, but it helps. I mean, 10 years, a decade. That you said that a second ago, and I was like, dang, it's a decade. You get support for a decade.
Yeah, that's a lot. Very long time.
It's a lot.
And going back to the whole idea of ChromeOS Flex being the fix, for all this stuff, I'm like, the more you think about it, like if I bought this and I flashed ChromeOS Flex on it, and it's technically works or whatever, you're buying now a Chromebook. If I sell it to you, you're buying this Chromebook that now is this experience that's not what Google said a Chromebook is. It's now something else. And from a branding standpoint, from trying to communicate what Chromebooks do and don't do and all that kind of stuff, it's not delivering. It's not, also wouldn't be delivering on the security. If that's a pillar, if absolute security is a pillar, you can't have that when you only update the browser. So Lacrosse isn't an answer for this either, but I do feel like 10 years of support for your devices feels kind of like the answer to me. And I'm sure there will be people, well, 10 years is a lot, but it's not enough. Okay.
Yeah. At some point,
you have to draw a line in the sand at some point and say, like, this is as far as we can afford to take this. And to be honest, I'm trying to think of any Chromebook that's 10 years old that would be worth actually using on a daily basis right now.
We've come so far from
things have just changed a lot. I mean, think about where the web is. Think about just the web, because the Samsung Series 3 is a 2013 device, I think. So I wouldn't use that. Like, no way. I wouldn't consider it. Maybe that's a perfect one if we can get it to boot up and run Chrome OS to be like, would you want to use this thing? Does this look like something you would want Google to continue serving updates to? Because at some point, it becomes the Microsoft Windows problem. So they've got all this legacy hardware and software from businesses and everything attached to Windows. They can only move Windows forward as much as they can hold on to what's back. And they can't go and do something wildly new with Windows and just tell all those other people that that are still running Windows XP, oh well, can't help you, I'm sorry. Your manufacturing plant is going to have to shut down, or whatever. Like, they can't. It's hard to do that. They can do that, but it becomes difficult when you're serving people that don't want to update anything and people that want the newest and new and improved version of Windows. Like, you're stuck doing all that stuff. And so, like, when you think about Chromebooks and you think about a 10-year-old Chromebook and looking at something like the Series 3 Samsung, you're like, is this really what you want? Like, Chrome OS has been able to move forward so fast and develop and add new features and all that kind of stuff because they're not tethered to some idea that we're going to keep supporting devices indefinitely, especially devices that don't have processors that can keep up with the modern web, that can't keep up with Android apps, that can't keep up with any of the stuff that you would want to do on your Chromebook. Like, you bought a Chromebook to do all this stuff. Oh, well, that one that you want to go buy that's out of expiry, and you think that because it's cost $50 that it should be able to do everything under the sun. Like, that's just delusional thinking. Like, it's a bizarre thing that we even think that that's reality. Like, that we even think that that's okay. Like, if you bought a decade-old PC, do you really think it's going to run Windows 11 very well? I don't. I don't think it's going to do anything on the web very well. I don't think it's going to do anything well. I think it's going to be a nightmare to use, actually.
Open up the what's their little WordPad app on Windows.
Yeah.
I haven't used it in so long. Open that up. Just type in that.
Just start messing with that, and just tell me, like, is this what you want? Do you want that? Is that what you want to use on a daily basis? And I think it'd be different if Chromebooks cost $1,000, all of them, or $800, $900, $1,000. But constantly, there's Chromebooks for $150 that are going to get updates for 5 or 6 more years. That, again, in our minds, are a little bit slow, but ultimately they're far better than what you would get from a decade ago. And again, stop for just a second and consider what the internet was like a decade ago. Think about it for just a second. Like, stop and really think through the things that you did online. And the tech has changed massively, and software can only evolve to meet hardware, and it keeps doing that. Hardware keeps evolving, software keeps evolving. It's unreasonable to consider an old piece of hardware that should run everything that you want to do now well. It's just not going to work. It's like the fast, fast, good, and cheap triangle. You can't have all three.
Yeah.
Like you'll have two, not one. So if you've never heard of that before, fast,
there's
good,
a
cheap.
website. I think it's called fastgoodcheap.com. I'm pretty sure. If not, let's buy that right now. But it's all it is the little dongles, and you just turn it, and one goes
away. Like because if you think about it, like you can have it. You can get something that really fast and really good.
Toggles, not dongles. Dongle's what you plug in. A toggle.
Yeah, and so like if you think of those words, fast, good, and cheap. If you get good and cheap, so really good work, but it's going to be cheap, they're going to take forever. This is no knock to my dad, but he's helping me fix my deck, and he told me, he's like, I'll come over there a few times a week and work on it. It's taking a little while, but he's doing it well. Like it's being done well, and it's going to be way cheaper. Like 20% of what I got quoted to get it done. Just not gonna be fast. That's okay. Or you can get, you can get good and I got good and cheap. That's what I got. So you can go fast and cheap. You know good and well. You know already. If they do it really fast and it's really cheap, it's gonna suck. You know it. You know it's gonna be the case. And then if it's fast and good, guess what? It ain't gonna be cheap. You're gonna pay for if you get it done over the weekend and it's really good quality for a deck, you're going to pay through the nose for it. So I think that applies here. Like you can't have both. Like this is a conundrum that cannot be solved by whining on the internet or New York Times pieces. You can't solve, hey, it's a great hardware, a great software experience. We have all three pillars of ChromeOS here: speed, simplicity, security. See, look, no problem there.
Got it.
Just,
speed, simplicity, security. We just got to remember it.
Like
I do remember
normally
it.
I can rattle it off. It screwed me up. But you can't have all three of those pillars while holding on to hardware that's a decade old. You can't have both. And so, but a decade is a long time to support a Chromebook for sure. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping for the most part that this appeases everybody. I don't know that it will. At
least softens it maybe or whatever.
I think for the most part, most people will look at that and go, man, that's a lot.
It's a long time.
I mean, we get excited about the fact that people are like, man, the iPhone gets 5 years of updates. And like that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
How much did you pay for that iPhone? Mm-hmm. And most Chromebooks, I put out a deal today that was $479 for a very nice Chromebook. So, let's compare apples to apples here. Mm-hmm. Let's not get lost in the weeds and look at what Google's doing here. I think it's commendable. I think it's awesome. It's going to be a big lift for them in general. But, I think they're doing the right thing. I don't think they should feel compelled to extend this anymore. Like when they went to 8 years, to be completely frank, I felt like, hey, you've done enough. Like 8 years is a long time to support
the switch
Chromebooks.
to 8 years was...
But they did that for new devices. They didn't go back and add more to old devices.
Sure.
So now they're not just going to 10. Yeah. They're adding 2 to all of them. So
when did the 8-year announcement happen? That was not that long ago, right? Or I don't know. Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun.
Old time dilation.
Yeah.
8-year AUE. See if I can find that.
See what you got. I'm curious. Did we write about it?
Oh yeah, I remember writing about it, but it has been a while.
Doesn't matter.
2020.
It's probably buried in there somewhere. Maybe.
Yeah. So it might have been 2019 when they announced that.
Okay. It's been a while. Okay.
Yeah.
But 10 years is awesome. We love it. Go check out Robbie's article.
Eventually, if it's not linked in the show
coming.
notes, stick around. ChromeUnbox.com. Yeah, we did the news press release
main
kind of thing.
release about 10 years. So, okay, we mentioned the Apple event early, so I do want to at least just quickly talk about USB-C on the iPhone.
We need to take a break first.
We're almost done now.
Oh, man.
If we break now, it's going to be a 10-minute.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Let's just finish strong here.
Okay, no breaks.
Finish strong. We're an hour in, buddy.
Oh my gosh! Just proves when you're talking about stuff that
I know.
you care about.
I wrote down 47 minutes. I was like, ooh.
I thought we might have been like 40.
We're gonna talk iPhone, and then we're gonna talk the Chromebook Plus X stuff real quick.
I wanted to talk about
iPhone.
I had 3 articles pulled up. Sunday Ticket.
Oh, Sunday Ticket. You can throw in Sunday Ticket as well. Hot takes. We'll do some hot takes. The iPhone, I just want to mention, got USB-C. Boom. Cool. We've had that for a while.
Yeah, just like everything else in an iPhone world.
But welcome to the party. Like, it was the biggest part of the announcement, I think, as far as like an update, like something incredible. And Marquez even said it. Like they didn't do anything with the USB-C. It's not like they added
I figured they
Thunderbolt
would do something.
or something. Or they worked around and did this cool thing that now iPhones can do with USB-C. Nope, it's just got USB-C.
No. And what's even worse is the standard iPhone is USB 2. Because you got to remember, USB-C is the type of port, the type of actual bus there matters, and it's a USB 2.1. So you get USB 3 on the Pro. It should have been USB 3 across the board. The Pro gets Thunderbolt like USB 4. It's not. So, yay! Yay! That sub $500 Chromebook I was talking about has 2 Thunderbolt ports on it.
Right, there you
just
go.
Saying.
It's just interesting that I was expecting. I mean, everyone knew that they were adding USB-C. I was hoping that they were going to do something cool with it.
No, it's funny. It's the biggest news that's gone around about it. It's about the only thing I've seen, and that's the one thing they were forced into. That was an EU thing. Like they basically forced them. Like you can't keep selling your iPhone here unless you switch to USB-C because you're creating waste. The main thing that I'm excited about, the number one reason I'm excited about this, is that in my truck I'll just have one cord now because my wife has an iPhone, so I've got 2 cords. You always got that lightning cord. I've always got the lightning in there. Oh, even better, they didn't take advantage of all the properties of USB-C. It's still 20-watt charging, so. It'll still charge slow as Christmas. Take a while to charge. So, anywho, fantastic. Just wanted to throw that in there. Way to go, Apple. Just wanted to throw that in, a little jab. Sunday Ticket. This is a cool one. We're football fans. Love football. We were excited when Titans. YouTube go Titans tighten up. Please, guys, not the start to the season we wanted, but moving on. I got Derrick Henry in my fantasy draft. I was so excited. Why weren't they playing him more? I was like, Tractorcito, let's go. It was a joke. Nothing. We were excited to see YouTube pick up NFL Sunday Ticket. Yeah. Awesome, perfect thing for YouTube to do. They 100%. Have all of the technology with YouTube TV, and they've YouTube just in YouTube period. They're like the OG streaming service on the internet. So they know what they're doing. You've got it, and they are off on a heater. Yeah, they've really started well. So week 1. Mainly, it was like, hey, I wrote an article and kind of saw some other just chatter on the web about people just being like, man, this went really well. And I shouldn't have been shocked. I mean, it's YouTube. Like, again, it's not like they're coming into this going, okay, let's see how this goes. Like, they're responsible for streaming the majority of video on the internet, period. And so, this wasn't some I'm sure this is child's play for them, to be completely honest. They're like 2 million people are going to watch some football games. Cool. 2 million people watched that one video yesterday. Yeah. I'm just saying, just that one of the billions. Do you know who Mr. Beast is? Yeah, right. We deal with that every month. Right. I mean, they were probably like, I don't know why people think this is so hard. This is easy. Oh, you want 4 streams at once? Got it. Yeah, okay. We can do 27, but whatever. So the only nag people have is the multi-view thing right now. They have multiple ones set up, and they only show up a few minutes before the games start. And so, it's only it's set games. Yeah, right? They need to allow you to choose that sooner, and then B, you need to be able to choose the 4 games. Just period. That needs to happen. But that literally is the only complaint. Everything else, it streams well. I did all 3 versions, so I watched live. I watched it live on my phone in the car with bad reception, basically, heading to Lexington on the Bluegrass Parkway. Because Robbie decided to have an event. He was in a corgi race. That
was honestly super duper fun. I'm not gonna dog it.
I didn't have the event. I didn't have the event, and it also wasn't my idea to go. It was my wife's idea of the event held by the Lexington.
And my
Humane
wife
Society.
wanted to go, so Robbie and I went.
So we got roped in. We were at a horse track watching dogs run.
It was actually
dogs that don't actually run.
It was super duper fun.
It was fun. It was
I haven't like it was just every time they opened the gate, it was just a great laugh because half the dogs wouldn't even go. The heat before you all, the corgis literally didn't even. None of them ran.
I was like, oh my god, if the ones that Honey's in with this, like if I can just get her to run, she'll win. She'll win, and she was gonna win. She was gonna win. She got distracted. She didn't get scared. I'm telling you, she didn't want to be picked up. She was like, I got freedom. And I'm close to you, and I know you're going to put that leash back on me. So she stopped short and decided to run away. And we were the last people off the track in our heat.
It was quite fun. I should have filmed that part. I should have. That's what Sydney I should have been.
Sydney's
she did. Nice.
Of us running around.
Trying to get her.
She grabbed the treats out of my hand and then run away.
It was great.
It was come great. Here. It's like 5,000 people watching us right now.
It's great.
An idiot.
It's great.
But yeah, so and then I watched the second half of the game on delay, from the DVR. So I kind of got all phases of it. But just no issues
and
whatsoever.
Then day after game, the
Probably
whole
that
game,
evening,
or maybe even
no,
that night I didn't have it because remember I told you I did check that night.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was that next morning because remember I told you I was like, man, why isn't this showing up? So on YouTube TV, when you click into something in your DVR that has multiple recordings, either your VOD or your DVR, you can choose which version. Well, I clicked in to a preseason and it was like 36-minute version.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? And I clicked in and it was exactly what I thought it was.
Yep.
It was the whole game edited down to just the plays.
Just plays. Yep. So they cut out all huddles,
Incredible.
all commercials, all timeouts,
It's
everything.
the way to watch
only
football.
Play. So NFL does that with their league pass.
Yeah.
You can watch it the day after. You can watch the full game or you can watch that condensed game.
And it's
baseball. MLB does that with baseball.
It's the best
too.
way to watch it afterwards. Watching a game live is its whole other thing.
Like
but
you want to have those spaces to kind
or
of
if
feel
you want to
attention
hear all the commentary, I get that. But if you're just trying to catch up on what happened, awesome way to watch
see
it.
all of it.
Yeah, and see every
and not
single
miss
play.
any plays.
Because the key highlights is nice too that they've added on. I guess that normally happens on any sporting event on YouTube TV.
Yeah, so YouTube TV generally does that.
But it loads in between, and sometimes they're weird, and sometimes it's not all the plays. Anywho, it's freaking awesome. Kudos to YouTube team who's been taking care of this. It's just off
and they've
off
already
and running.
eclipsed subscriber numbers from DirecTV.
Oh yeah,
from
that was the other thing. Yeah.
Last season. So
yeah.
There were reports saying they need to hit 4 million subscribers to like start making money on it. I don't know if that's true or not, but they're probably well over 2 million already.
It's really cool. Was it last year with Sunday Ticket that the first game NFL Sunday Ticket was not working? I'm almost certain it was week one.
Yeah,
because I ended up
we had that student doing the little student deal thing.
Just didn't work.
Yeah, it
so
just failed.
None of that. It's awesome.
No, it's really great.
One other quick last thing, hot take here on another device that you found.
So it's in the
CBX Chromebook
Omaha
Plus.
server, so the update server basically that has all Chromebooks in it. It's a Lenovo Chromebook Flex 5i
Plus.
Chromebook Plus.
Chromebook Plus.
Yeah, IdeaPad Flex 5i Chromebook Plus. Not great name, but it's another Plus Chromebook that's new.
Do you have it pulled up? Let's show the images. You did the little side by side, didn't you? Or no, I'm thinking of the 3.
Yeah. And I don't have a full image for sure what that's going to be. There is the Slim 3 that showed up as well, a new updated version of the Slim 3 that has the new Core i3 N305 processor in it. Where did I put that one? Nope, that's the Chromebook Plus. Oh, that's the Slim 3i. So,
that
it
was
looks
the image
pretty much like the Slim 3i we've done stuff with. 128 gig internals, and then the N305 processor inside. So, I feel like this might end up being the Chromebook Plus, but I don't know yet. Or something like this. And then there's that HP that was announced and then just showed up. The 15-inch with the same N305 processor in it. So I'm starting to think that those might end up being Chromebook Pluses or something similar. So it's coming.
Coming
soon.
I feel like we're on the cusp here, and we were hopeful that maybe some of the naming conventions would get cleaned up. That doesn't appear to be the case,
At least not with the Lenovo,
but I think this is going to be an evolution thing. I think that maybe this was a naming structure that they already had, and then the Plus stuff is coming along.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time for this stuff to
take a little while.
Fully, bear fruit, I think.
Right.
So be patient with it. I think we're going to see some cool Chromebooks out of it, though.
Yeah, definitely. Alrighty, folks. I think that's it for this week. That was fun. That was lots of stuff. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
I know.
Appreciate you all tuning in and listening and watching. If you are watching over on YouTube, make sure to give us a thumbs up. Go down there and click subscribe and ring the notification bell. I was thinking of the bells. We need to bring back the bells. Ding, 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 ding. If you do that, you'll get a notification whenever we put out next week's episode.
Yep.
So do those things, and then you'll be my friend, and I'll love you. All right.
At least like you a lot.
No, love. It's going to be full-blown love.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just throwing that out there for anybody that does this.
All right.
My love. All right. We'll catch you all next week. See ya.